And then they were in the NICU for several months, and we quickly realized they had different blood types, and then we knew that they weren't identical. And then over quickly amount of time, we realized they were not identical. But yeah, early on, they told us to put nail polish on their toenails, which obviously works if they don't have socks on, and obviously doesn't if they do. So.
Yeah, an interesting challenge. It's a lot to manage. But you know, Brianna, you survived. You got through those infant years with 2 little babies. And there's a gal in the college part of my team who has 2 twins born in July. So 1 boy, 1 girl. And she's still very tired. As a new parent will be. Mm-hmm. So Bill Easton, are you using your new camera that I saw?
I am. Am I in high def? Do I scare everybody? I have a face designed for standard def or radio.
That's great. You do look a little like you're in higher definition. I mean, right now you're in gallery view, so it's small. So
I'm going to have to start wearing a different flannel every single day.
Bill, you did a nice job riding the goat last week.
Oh, thank you. I mentioned to Barb, I'm glad I went first. I don't know how well I would have done following up yesterday.
Yeah, Mike had a great story. We actually got Mike on the agenda to present in late January, I think. So
awesome. Yeah, I think that was a neat story.
Yeah.
I knew there was more, but it ended.
I know. I felt so bad about it, but you know, if we were in person, you all would have clapped and he would have been done, and you know, yeah. So.
And I could see you gave him like an extra 20, 30 seconds probably.
He did. I was doing the little like, here's the red folder, here's the red folder. Come on, you know, a visual cue.
Yeah, it was a good one. I'm glad it's over. That's all I got to say.
That's good. I completely ran out of time. You know,
well, I'm glad to hear that.
I did not use my 3 minutes well.
And I am glad that we got it earlier. I'm always nervous if it's at the very end, because then I have to get through the whole thing. I'm not really listening to the speakers. I just, yeah. So that was nice.
That's great. Well, welcome everybody. Glad to see you all here. Make sure you go into the chat and sign in. Chastity, it's good to see you today. Glad you could join us today. I'll be calling on you in a little bit. We'll see, we're going to start in about another 2 minutes or so. Glad to see everybody kind of coming in. Dan Kenzie, how are you? I haven't seen you in a week or so. Christy Felberg, Margaret. I always have to go to that second screen so I can see everybody. Sarah, that's great. Mary's there with her husband. She's got a guest today. Sean, Jim, Madeline.
That's fair.
Love to see those numbers go up. That's great. Excellent. And I see Miss Linda Farkas here. Today is the day that we are doing some interviews for the World Affairs Seminar with some students from City High and Liberty High. So
great.
Yeah, we have 10 accepted students that want to attend and 1 virtual from West High. So we're on a roll right now.
That's great. That's great. Those young people are always quite impressive, and it's a great program for them, whether it's the World Affairs program or whether it's the RILA program for kids about a year younger. Great experience for them. My son went through RILA, loved it. At the beginning, he was kind of like, yeah, Mom, you know, whatever you say, okay, I'll do it. And then at the end, he was like, that was awesome, you know, so.
How are you? Oh, I'm okay. I don't know what it was.
All right. Well, it is 12:02, so we will get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Barb Thomas. I am the president of the Iowa City Noon Rotary for this year. And for every meeting that we have, we start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're able to stand, you're welcome to unmute your microphone if you like and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So happy Thursday, December 10th. And so I want to start off by saying happy Hanukkah. And for anybody who happens to celebrate, I want to hope you have a wonderful Hanukkah season. I hope you have plenty of oil for your 7 days. So congratulations and celebrate, enjoy. It is the festive season. We have a lot of holidays kind of coming forward. The other exciting news is that we do know that Devin Van Holstein's wife is being induced today, but we don't know, we have not seen pictures of the baby. We haven't heard the results. We know it's 2 girls, twin girls, identical girls. And so probably next week, you might have the opportunity to see a photo or 2 of those darling little girls. But in the meantime, I want to give a special shout out to some people who are kind of helping step in and help out while Devin is out on his paternity leave. And so Tara Manetos has stepped up and she is going to be taking attendance for us. And then Kelly Drown has stepped up and she is going to handle some of the Zoom back end for us, including uploading the video to YouTube, things like that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly for a few Zoom reminders. Kelly?
All right, thank you, Barb, and so wonderful to see everyone. A friendly reminder to please mute your microphone, and again, you can do that at the bottom left of your screen. Also, a reminder that you can choose either speaker or gallery. It's suggested that you have this gallery view at this point in time so you can see everyone's fun and smiley faces, but when the speaker comes on, to change it to speaker, that way you can see the presentation and just have a better view of the information that is being shared. Also, if you have questions during the presentation, you can put them in the chat, but also remember to sign in right now so that Tara can take attendance, and go ahead and sign in and put your name in the chat. Also, during presentations as well as when we announce visitors and guest Rotarians, to please go ahead and go into the participant button and raise your hand, and we will call on you to have you share your guest, or if you're a visiting Rotarian, or should you have a question. And other than that, if you do have a more updated version of Zoom, you can manipulate how much of the presentation you would like to see, or if you would like more of the gallery view or more of the speaker. So you are able to slide across the screen and adjust that. And with that, I will turn it back over to Barb.
Great. Thank you very much, Kelly. So now we'll go to introductions, and this means that you get to practice that Zoom skill, everybody. So if you would like to raise your hand in the box, that means going to the participants button and choosing the raise your hand feature, and then Kelly will call on you. So I'm going to turn it back to Kelly for any introductions.
Yes, yes, perfect. It looks like we have John Kenyon first.
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Kenyon with the City of Literature organization, and my guest today, as has been for the last few weeks, is Anna Bark.
Perfect. Anna, do you want to unmute your screen and say hello?
Yes, I'm going to keep my camera off, but here I am and excited to participate. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us. All right, Ryan Bell.
Hello, fellow Rotarians. I've got a guest that came our way by way of our Facebook page, which is kind of cool, and a good reminder for all of you to go out and like our Facebook page so we get seen by more and more people. But Jesus Garcia is here. I talked to him this morning. He's got the heart of a Rotarian, so I'm excited to have him here today. And Jesus, you want to unmute and say hi real quick?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jesus Garcia. I live in Iowa City, Iowa. I'm a father of 2 kids with 1 on the way. I also do painting for homes. I'm really excited and getting to learn from you guys. And it's pretty cool what you guys do. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jesus, and welcome. All right, we have Mary Reddig.
Hi there. I have a guest today, and it's my husband, David Reddig. He's familiar, I think, with some of you, and is a familiar face also to some of you. He's the executive director of the Amana Colonies Convention and Visitors Bureau. And the topic of our program today is especially interesting to him since it's on the hotel, the Highlander Hotel. And David will be joining us in early January, I think, at the invitation of Aaron Schaefer to give a program. So this is a kind of a nice little test run. David?
So, thank you for letting me sit in on this. I'm looking forward to the presentation, and I'm happy to be here, and also looking forward to presenting in January.
Wonderful. Thank you, David, for joining us. It's nice to see Mary's other half. All right, so we also have Sarah Richardson.
Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you. I'm going to be Zooming with Barb and Linda and a few other Rotarians really for most of the rest of the afternoon for our youth leadership, so that'll be fun. I'm thrilled to have Kyle Galloway, CFO of Barker Companies, with us today as a guest. Also a former Iowa basketball player who I'm sure is very happy with how the Hawks are doing this season. And we in the Barker family business have 2 hotels, and so we're very interested to hear from our guests today. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you and welcome, Kyle. It's nice to see that name again. All right, and let's see. As far as I believe that is all we have for guests. Does anyone else have a guest they would like to introduce? Okay, how about visiting Rotarians? Is Gary Wickland on? Okay, yep, LaDonna and Gary Wickland, hello and welcome. All right, any other visiting Rotarians that would like to say hello? All right, with that, I will again provide a friendly reminder to mute your microphones, and other than that, I will send it back to Barb.
Great. Thank you, Kelly. You did great. See,
oh, thank you.
You're doing it. Awesome. Really appreciate your help with this. It takes a community of people to make Rotary run, and this is an example of different people stepping in and helping out where it's needed. So thank you. Next, we'll move on to announcements, and I know that we have an announcement from Joe Hughes. Joe?
Thank you, President Barb. Salvation Army, we're going to be ringing the bell on Saturday for anyone who feels comfortable with the current COVID situation. And so I'm going to post the link to that on our chat here. Also, if you can't make it Saturday, maybe because the Hawkeyes are playing, or if you don't feel comfortable, please sign up for our virtual Red Kettle campaign where we're giving, and it's specifically for our Rotary Club. So a few shout outs, Vern and Tom Robinson got signed up to ring. Ryan Bell was the first one to sign up to ring, of course, and Tita Kaufman was the first one to give to our virtual Red Kettle campaign. So sign up on these links, and thanks. Be well, everyone.
Great. Thank you so much, Joe. That is a great idea. If you feel comfortable wearing your mask and ringing a bell, we are doing it this Saturday. So look for Joe's link in the chat if you'd like to sign up. And if not, consider possibly contributing to that. You can give at a kettle if you see it in person, but you can also do it online. So super easy to do that as well. So if there are no other announcements, I next want to go to Chastity Dillard. And so Chastity is here today because she is with the Neighborhood Centers of Johnson County, and they are one of the nonprofits that our Rotary Club has supported this year. If you remember, we reached into our reserves to provide resources to area nonprofits that have been affected by COVID and everything that goes with it. They're unable to hold fundraisers. They're having more expenses because they're having to buy additional cleaning equipment and things like that. So our club has stepped in to provide resources to different organizations, and Chastity is going to kind of explain to us what we helped fund. So I'm going to turn it over to her. Chastity?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much for having me on this morning. As Barbara mentioned, I am the Development Director of the Neighborhood Centers of Johnson County. And first off, I just want to say we're so appreciative and thankful for all the help, especially your organization has done, and then just the community support that has been given to us and all the agencies in need this year. Because as we all know, this has been a difficult year. One thing I do want to say is the biggest need that we had was just being able to have more flexibility with funds and grants, like you all provided us, is exactly what we needed for that. Because as Barbara mentioned, we did have tons of new needs emerge. But because of your support, we were able to create some new programs. A big partnership is the Nest programs. I'm sure many of you have heard of in the community. We were able to create our Broadway Nest, which is a virtual nest. So kids that are virtually learning, they do come to that programming. And sometimes we do have kids that are on the hybrid schedule. We were able to partner with St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church here in Iowa City to do the same thing and provide support to only kids that are on the hybrid schedule. So when they aren't in school, they are going to be with us all day. And then one other thing that was a huge need is, as you all know, we do have several early childhood programs. And so we wanted to still provide that support so we condense our programs from 16 kids in a classroom to 8. So that meant we needed to find more space. So we had to expand into our different buildings to create that space as well. So because of you all, that was able to happen this year. And we are just so grateful for your support. So thank you so much.
You bet, Chastity. Kudos to you. I love the concept of those Nest programs. I think it's a really wonderful way to help people, especially as certain families are dealing with online learning. There's a lot of challenges with that, whether it's having internet access and technology, or the parents need to work, and to provide that service is just outstanding. And so I want to just say, keep up the good work. You're doing amazing stuff. And you know, Chastity, you can come join our Zoom meeting any old time. We would love to have you as a member, okay? Because you know, you have a beautiful smile and really cool earrings. So totally would love to have you be a part of our club. So that does remind me that I want to make sure everyone knows that in case you don't see John Brown's email or any type of communication with the Zoom link, I just want to remind you all that the Zoom link for these meetings is exactly the same every single week. So if you need to, just kind of take note of that, keep it in your calendar. That way, if you think you've missed an email, you can kind of always refer back to that. It is always the same link every week. If it changes for some wacky reason, we will make sure we let you know. I also want to let you know that we will not have a meeting Christmas week. We do have a fun-filled meeting next week. Eric Weiler, our president-elect, will be leading that meeting. I will actually not be here, so I'm going to just wish you all happy holidays in advance. And then make sure you come and join us for our New Year's Eve noon meeting, because we're going to have some fun with it. Okay, so you can expect maybe some fun polls. We might go into some Zoom rooms, but we're actually going to have some entertainment from our own Aaron Schaefer. So it'll be a fun and different way for us to still meet on New Year's Eve. So I want to make sure that you do that. Next, I would like to, I'm going to turn it over to Pete Wallace. So Pete is going to provide for us his Rotary moment of gratitude and positivity. Pete, you want to take it away?
Thank you, Barb. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Positivity and gratitude, food for much thought. I'm going about this in a slightly different way, and it's Barb's fault. So bear with me. I'm going to start with Eina Hughes's famous prayer, which most of you have heard many times, and the significance of which will become apparent in a minute or two. We pray for children who eat popsicles before supper and who erase holes in their math workbooks and who can never find their shoes. And we pray for those who stare at photographers from behind barbed wire, who can't bound down the street in a new pair of shoes, who never counted potatoes, who were born in places we wouldn't be caught dead, who never go to the circus, who live in an X-rated world. We pray for children who bring us sticky kisses and fistfuls of dandelions and who sleep with the cat and bury goldfish, who hug us in a hurry and forget their lunch money, who squeeze toothpaste all over the sink and who slurp their soup. And we pray for those who never get dessert, who have no safe blanket to drag behind them, who watch their parents watch them die, who can't find any bread to steal, who don't have any rooms to clean up, whose pictures aren't on anybody's dresser, whose monsters are real. And we pray for children who spend all their allowance before Tuesday, who throw tantrums in the grocery store and pick at their food, who like ghost stories, who shove dirty clothes under the bed and never rinse out the tub, who get visits from the tooth fairy, who don't like to be kissed in front of the carpool, and who squirm in church or temple and scream in the phone, whose tears we sometimes laugh at, and whose smiles can make us cry. We pray for those whose nightmares come in the daytime, who will eat anything, who've never seen a dentist, who aren't spoiled by anybody, who go to bed hungry and cry themselves to sleep, who live and move and have no being. We pray for children who want to be carried and for those who must, and for those we never give up on and those who don't get a second chance, for those we smother and for those who will grab the hand of anybody kind enough to offer it. We pray for children. Amen. It should come as no surprise, given my profession, that my gratitude is to all that is done to ameliorate the negative half of this prayer I just read you. And that's why we are all here today and we belong to this club, Rotary. Think of what Rotary International has done toward this end. Polio Plus jumps out right away, but there are thousands and thousands of grants all over the world to benefit children. And then consider what our club has done. The Acotapec Project, Iowa Most, Rag for Clubfoot, money such as we just gave and heard about to the neighborhood centers. So that's the positivity that I applaud and frankly expect to increase in the next few years. And the gratitude I have for all the Rotarians that you all know who have participated in these efforts. Many examples, too many to mention, but think about Gary and Nancy Pasha and John Kennedy and Tom Cook and John Gross and the Muslins, and far too many for me to mention. So, in sum, I am grateful for the past, and I'm positive about the future. And I leave you with Abraham Lincoln, who said in 1863, "No man stands so tall as he who stoops to help a child."
That is great. Thank you so much, Pete. Really appreciate that. I have to say that I think one of the things that I am grateful for is that we've started this new tradition and that we get to hear from other people in our club about really interesting, positive thoughts and perspective on their lives, our work as a community. So Kudos, Pete. Many thanks for saying yes and agreeing to do so. So next, we'll move on to our program for the day. And so it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Angela Harrington. She is the owner and operator of the Highlander Hotel, Hotel Grinnell, and Catalyst Development. She has extensive experience in product development, strategic marketing, complex operations management, and the direction of extraordinary service teams specifically related to tourism, hospitality, and events. She holds master's certificates from Cornell University, the Cornell in Ithaca, New York that is, in hospital operations, marketing and revenue management, as well as a BA in behavioral science from Metropolitan State University of Denver. She uses contagious enthusiasm. Now, don't you just love that phrase? That is just fabulous. Contagious enthusiasm, tenacity, and courage combined with outstanding operations and team leadership skills to achieve extraordinary results. So as I turn this over to Angela, I want to remind everyone that you may want to go to the view and choose speaker view so that you can see a larger view of Angela and her presentation. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Angela.
Thank you. Boy, I don't remember writing that, but I must have at some point. So thank you for the lovely introduction. So I think I'll give you a history, a tour, and then a state of the state, maybe in that order. I've been looking, I've owned Hotel Grinnell. I converted a 100-year-old junior high school in the middle of downtown Grinnell to a 45-room boutique hotel and event center. And that was, I opened the doors about 3 years ago, almost to the day. Took about 9 years to figure out how to fund a luxury hotel and finance a luxury hotel in a small town. It hadn't been done for about 100 years. So it took me a long time to do that. And then right away when I opened Grinnell, I started to look for my next project. And so I had, I looked over the years at about 5, very closely about 5, and really did due diligence on 5 different projects. And then a picture from a broker came across my desk of the Highlander. And so I remember seeing it and I thought, what in the world is this 70s hotel with these giant exterior windows? So I thought, I gotta go take a look at this. So I came and looked at it and I was blown away about the story that I could tell, or what I could take what I do best and really bring it back to life. The property was highly, highly distressed. It ranked dead last on TripAdvisor. 26 rooms, when I looked at it, were out of service for bed bugs. So it was, to say it was distressed is an understatement. But I walked in the pool area and I just could see Don Draper from Edmond in the 70s smoking a cigarette up on that balcony. And I had to figure it out. So I put under contract just a year ago, July 3rd. I raised, and then my lender said, well, you gotta figure out $1 million in cash. So I hired somebody to help me find an investor, and I found an investor, and then that later, fast forward to October, and that fell apart. So then I asked the seller for extension, and they gave me 45 days, and they said, well, we like what your business plan is, and we think we can do that. So you have 45 days to close, or we're doing it. So that was superb. So I cried in my beer for a couple of days, and then my 2 mentors said, well, you're just gonna have to figure it out and raise money. So I said so in 45 days, actually 42 days, the last of the money was raised the day before we closed. So in 45 days, I raised $1 million. with a combination of people that are fans of the hotel in Grinnell that have the wherewithal to do that. And most have a common thread between Grinnell and Iowa City. And then the others were Iowa City. And once I had one, that kind of fell into place. So that's a history. So then we took possession December 22nd, and we relaunched, glossing over the onset of the pandemic, but we relaunched the hotel in July. So we were only under construction about 6 months. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. So I thought I would go, and if I can figure out how to share my screen here. You told me to practice, but of course I did not.
That's okay. So at the bottom, you should see a share screen button.
I got it.
Gives you some options. Pick the one you want. There you go.
Okay. So I need to put this in a nice fancy PowerPoint, but I have not. Anyway, so I'm just going to walk you through some before and after pictures because it makes me happy. So here is a picture of the bar when I bought it. Now let's see if I can. Whoop. I can't flip. Why is that? Anyway, so there's a picture of the bar. And then I'm going to have to annoy you terribly and just go back and forth. And here's a picture of the bar now. Quite the difference. So I feel really good about it. I originally named it the Bohemian because that was the word that came to mind when I thought of Iowa City. And it's really important for me to have my hotels really celebrate where they are in the world so that you wake up knowing that you are in the city that hotel celebrates. So this is, you can really see the Bohemian vibe. And then I spent 6 months explaining to people that the Bohemian was the Highlander. So I decided that was too expensive and too tedious to try to explain it to everyone. Oh, I gotta tell you a backstory. So I'll put this. Can you guys see me still or not? Oh, you can. Okay. So backstory, when I put the hotel under contract, I didn't know about the Highlander because I'm from Denver, Colorado. I didn't know of the grand history, or anyway, I didn't know. So I named it the Bohemian, went forward, and several months later, I said to my husband, I said, something is weird about this project that I put under contract. Like everybody got married there and everybody knows it. And there's like these famous signatures on the wall. And I said, it's called the Highlander. And he said, oh my God, that's where we used to go for our family staycations. That was the big treat of the year, is to go pile in the piano van and go to the Highlander. So anyway, I knew I was onto something then, but and it was amazing to me that nobody had picked it up over the years to really bring it back and tell its story. All right, so here's another picture of the bar. I had Thomas Agren, the downtown Iowa City muralist, do that mural and another one you'll see in a minute. Here's another picture of the bar. So really interesting jewel tones. Both hotels in Grinnell and Iowa City, they have quite a bit of color, which isn't very common today. So here's the ballroom. When I bought it, I'm sure every single one in this Zoom has been in that ballroom, guaranteed, right? So, and then now here's the ballroom. Uh-oh, got a small picture there, sorry. Here's the ballroom now. And I have to tell you, this was the only remaining light fixture that was left from 1967. Everything else in the different chain remodels over the years took out all of those historic items, except these. These were the chandeliers that hung in the supper club which I have not started on yet, but I moved them over to the ballroom. They're from 1967. They're original to the building, and I am in love with them. So you can see very, very different vibe, a little more neutral. So here's a double queen room when I bought it. And then here's a double queen now. And I've got a king guest room also. So then here's the pool. When I bought it, you all, I'm sure have all been in there. One of the things I really did not like is that it felt like you were swimming in Walmart because of all of the sea of acoustic tiles. So that was something I really needed to figure out. And then up here, this way back in 73 when the hotel was built was an actual like sauna and spa and workout facility. But then for 40 years, it was offices. We took out, I mean, giant dumpster loads of paper, and junk from up there. And now it's the penthouse. And you can go online and see pictures of the penthouse. It's over the top. It's the largest guest room in Iowa City. It has a hot tub or a giant tub in it, and it's quite something. So I'll show you a picture at the end if I can get my act together to do that. So that's then, and then this is now. This is the other mural that Thomas Agran did for us. We repainted the pool, as you can see. We redid the ceiling. It is just really, really cool. Over here, that was the pool bar in 1973. It was turned into a meeting room in the late 90s, and I brought it back. I call it the Snack Shack, and it's got a bar in there too, but it's mostly used to do breakfast in the morning and serve flats and so forth to the pool. So here, oops, sorry, lost track. Okay, so when I walked in the door, this was the pool windows that faced the east that looked out to the courtyard. You can even see the nice duct tape over here, a lot of duct tape here. So, and I don't know if you know this, if you remember, but that whole wall used to be open. And I have a picture, the coolest picture of a car show that happened when they floated a car in the pool. And that was all open, it was in and out. So anyway, that's what I walked into, and now it looks like this. So it's really cool. So these are giant garage doors that open up onto the courtyard. There's fire pits out there, bags, games, and in the summer we have croquet and different games, and we'll continue to develop that area over time. And then just a few pictures here. And that's another picture. This is what I was telling you that I just envisioned Don Draper smoking a cigarette up here. I mean, we kept all of that beautiful walnut that is, you know, original to the building. It's just really cool. It's something you've just got to see. So here's the front desk. When I came in, the first thing I did was put a lava lamp for good luck on the front desk, but there were 17 buckets on this front desk catching the water. It was, and people were checking in. This hotel is yet to be closed. So people were checking in, kind of looking up. So, and now I don't have a picture of the actual desk because now the bar is the desk and is for the most part the desk and the bar. But I have pictures of the desk area. So we have a giant, oh man, this is a little small too. We have a giant record collection of 60s and 70s. We've had people from all over Iowa donate. So this is just a small part of what we have. We have record players that you check out and take to your room, a bunch of board games. But we have like now 1,000 records that people wanted us to have, which is really, really fun. And then this is now the front door. So it's beautiful. Not that great a picture, but okay. So, and maybe I can find, I'll see about a penthouse picture, but I'll unshare my screen. Not sure how I do that. Oh, stop share. So right now I'm sitting in the hotel in Grinnell because it's even quieter than the, and I have a project that I'm working on and several things to get off my plate. So I'm working over, I usually am here half time. I'm usually here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm in Iowa City Friday through Monday. So that's the good news. The good news is that you no longer have an eyesore on the corner of I-80 and Dodge Street. You have a very engaged hotel owner that now lives in Iowa City, lives at the hotel. So that's the good news, and it is really, really something. We went from, as I told you, we were dead last on July 1st when we relaunched, and now we're number 3. So those of you I heard that are hotel owners, if you're number 1 or 2, I'm coming for you. So that's the good news. I mean, we're just really killing it on social media. Our reviews are over the top. I always say that it's service is worse, or I'm sure a lot of people say service is worse in hospitality when it's slow. But as I tell the team, we have 15. March 1st, I had 50 between the 2 hotels. Now I have 15, including my husband and I, post-pandemic or since the pandemic. But I tell my team that it doesn't matter if there's a lone guest in the hotel. There are many nights where there is one single guest in the hotel. And I tell them that we're going to be okay and we're going to come through this if every single guest, if we surprise every single guest, no matter if it's 1 guest or 10 guests. So that's kind of the bright story. The hard part of the story, of course, is I've had almost no revenue with the exception of the derecho since March. I have been 45 days from running out of cash 3 times. The first time, the first stimulus with PPP and EIDL loan saved that fiasco. And then an unexpected storm, the derecho, filled us up for 15 days in both hotels. And that took me through the next 45. And now I'm at that same point where I've got about 45 days and I'm hopeful for another stimulus, but of course hope isn't a business strategy. So basically since March, I manage our survival full-time. I'm usually really involved with marketing and training, and all I do is look for money and find ways to survive. So I think we're going to pull through. It's looking good. Well, but again, you know, these hotels are not designed for occupancy of 2%, and neither are your loans. So my husband and I moved into the hotel in Iowa City, not because we were really excited to live and work where we play, or live and play where we work, but because we needed to get our own expenses down to near 0. And it's actually way cool to live there because we have this giant pool, many nights to ourselves, which is unfortunate, but I mean, there's a housekeeping team if I need help, you know, there's the bar, there's room service. We don't indulge in those things, but it's awesome. It's awesome living in a hotel. And now I get why all the hotels in New York and Chicago say hotel and residences, you know, in those really upscale places. So we're really thinking about that as far as some kind of future thoughts of that. So that is, yeah. So
So
Good.
Angela, I actually have pulled up, so I will share my screen and show a few pictures of that spectacular penthouse that you
Oh,
mentioned.
good.
And you can kind of talk through it, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to tell us what this space is?
Yeah, so this is the kitchen and the living room of the penthouse. And there is that giant tub that you could fit, 10 small children in. And it's so unusual, and I picked it because it's so unusual. It really does in person even look like a giant cereal bowl that you should fill with milk and jump in it. But so yeah, and then it's got this tricked out shower. It's crazy with teak floor. I don't know if you have a picture of that, but
oh, that takes us back to
that's
the
the
bar.
gallery of our website. So
right.
Yeah, there's other pictures. If you were to click on the penthouse, I think that you'd see more, but this is a great kind of overview.
When there's bikes, right? People can get.
Yeah, bikes are complimentary. That hot tub is wonderful. We redid that all, and we had a big argument in the beginning when everyone's trying to convince me, including my husband, to take out the hot tub. I'm like, no, nobody has a hot tub. And then of course, everyone said that's why, because it's hot. And I said, no, we have it going on. We can operate a hot tub cleanly and safely. And so yeah, we're one of the only remaining hot tubs in the area. So, and we have the biggest pool, hotel pool anywhere. Well, in Iowa City, the metro, but other than little water parks here and there, definitely the largest hotel pool. So, other questions? It's kind of a, yay, we're here. Oh my God, we're here. Here we are.
So we did have a comment in the chat about your day pass options. Do you want
to
describe what that is?
Oh, yes. Oh, it's so exciting. So, 24, before I owned it, people had, went swimming and on a day pass for a nominal fee. Well, I wasn't comfortable with that. Plus, everything is about the guest experience. And what was happening is, when we first bought it, is that you'd have a guest staying, and granted, at that time it was $50 a night, but you had a guest staying, and then here comes all these, swimming lessons, and here comes all these people to use the pool, and then you're a family in there going, what the, anyway. So we stopped all that early on, but then it was feeling like people didn't feel comfortable with the overnight, even though it's very affordable. It's a perfect staycation. So we offered, this has just happened 24 hours ago. We put it out on Facebook that, okay, we're gonna sell 4 passes a day. 4 passes a session. So we have a 10 to 4 and a 4 to 6. It's $100. So it's not $5, it's $100, but it's a family of 4, can swim, gets lunch, gets your own room to have your stuff in, day pass. And we only allow 4 for the 10 to 3 and 4 for the afternoon. And I tell you, every single one, they've had the pool to themselves. So we had like 10,000 likes on Facebook, and it's one of those times where we're like, what just happened? Oh my God, it kind of went viral. So yeah, we're booking them, and now that it's like full this week, so we went into next week, and so now we have them up through the end of the year. So who would, sorry, I didn't think about it first. I'm sure someone's gonna say, well, why didn't you think about that first? It's amazing what you don't think about. And again, I have not been on marketing sales. I've been on hoarding cash, figuring out how we're gonna keep the lights on, keep the core team. I'm now have to take a 1.5 Unisom to sleep since the pandemic, because this is unbelievable. And I'm like now a veteran. I'm a veteran at businesses. I had a colossal failure in my 30s, which I'm very, very proud of. And I would tell you, because of that failure, I am not going to be on that list this time because I knew no one's going to save you tomorrow, and you better get your act together and don't pay anybody, and you just keep the lights on and keep going and worry about the rest later. Because back then I was like, oh, I'm sure this will turn, I'm sure of it. No, it's when something catastrophic like that happens, you have to act quickly and decisively, and it's every business for them. It's like the wild, wild west. Every business for yourself for a while till you can, you know, stabilize.
Absolutely. I mean, COVID has made many people pivot and do things differently. That's for sure. So I do see that we have a question from Sarah Richardson. Sarah, do you want to unmute your microphone and ask your question about the food options at the hotel?
Sure, Angela. So just so you don't worry, our hotels are not in this area.
Good.
Our hotels are in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and Fort Madison. So both historic. So my questions are what, and obviously we're having the challenges you describe are universal. What are your food options? Can guests get breakfast, lunch, and dinner with you, or how do you do that?
Yeah, well, our option to say we have a small menu is an overstatement because of course food options need volume. We have no volume. So we have, but it's important to me that if you see on the website that you have breakfast and this is open, you know, that I don't care if it's one guest, we have it, right? Same with the pool. Someone said, well, there hasn't been anyone in the pool for 3 hours. I said, doesn't matter. It says that it's open, that we have adult swim from 10 to midnight, so you have to stay open. So we have breakfast. We have 2 things for breakfast. We have delicious waffles and we have yogurt parfaits. And then for lunch/dinner, we have 2 things. We have chips and salsa with 2 choices of salsa, like a pico de gallo and a mango salsa. And then we have flatbreads. And there's 3 kinds, a whole 3 kinds of flatbreads. So yes, we have food available basically from 7 a.m. until midnight. And one thing that is unbelievable, I have the most amazing crew ever. Because, you know, in normal times, one person has the marketing job, one person has the front desk job, one person has the cleaning job, you know, or, you know, you have kind of your specialized roles. And I've always been a fan of cross-training, but it's on steroids. Every single housekeeper can make a martini. Every single bartender, because most times there's one person in the hotel and they have to do it all. During the storm, I have never done so much laundry in my life. We flipped on a dime from 0 guests to sold out. And the same 15 people, okay, so picture 5, and then 5 are shared. The same people had 2 sold out hotels and just set on a dime. So I digress. But yeah, the marketing gal's probably done, my marketing genius, Brittany, probably done more laundry than anybody in the hotel. So everybody does everything. The bartender makes your flat, cooks your breakfast, you know, it's how we're coping.
Exactly. So
Good
next,
for you, very impressive. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Next, we go to Mary Ellen Lewis. Mary Ellen?
Hello. I just wanted to mention that one of my fellow Rotarians, Brianna Wills, whose husband's medical practice is in your area, recommended your bar and your hotel for a great place to stop by for an after work cocktail or a glass of wine.
Absolutely.
And I and a couple of my friends did stop by, and I have to say, your hotel is absolutely gorgeous. And for our Rotary Club who were meeting there, when was that? Last year? Seems like a long time ago now. There is no comparison. You can't even believe it's the same place. I just think you did a fantastic job. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Thanks.
Cannot wait until we're able to go in, you know, big groups and really, really enjoy your space because it is so impressive. So congratulations.
Thank you. I think it's part of the challenge, and all you business owners will nod your heads. Part of the challenge is you almost feel socially irresponsible by telling people, come on, come over, you know? But the reality is that I'm sure you and your small group were the only ones in the bar.
Well, we were the only ones in the bar, and the bartender was super nice, took really good care of us, but we were certainly able to socially distance.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just know you were going to be a huge success in our area when life gets going again. Really, I recommend to everybody, just stop by and take a look. You will be amazed.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel like I have the most socially distanced activity on the planet right now and people, you know, think that, oh, I'm sure it's busy. Oh, I'm sure. No, it's really not busy at all. We have maybe 2 guests, 3 guests during the week, and then maybe 10 on a good weekend. So don't be shy. Most nights, the bartender or whoever is there are all by themselves. And that's part of the challenge too, is that it's really, this team that I have, it's typically really hard to keep your spirits up when it's like tumbleweeds. I mean, the Hotel Grinnell last night, I was the only occupant. Felt like The Shining most nights. So it's kind of hard to keep your spirits up, but that's why, you know, I keep all of those troubles to myself, and I don't share, and I just, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Just surprise and delay. Every single guest, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. So I feel it too, though. It feels like such a special place. I mean, when you walk in, there's like 60s and 70s music, and just gives you the vibe. It's just so laid back and so fun. It feels like it can't help but pop on the other side of this, but I gotta get to the other side.
Exactly.
Which 5 months, that's when I think we're going to start recovering. 5 months, I mean, my light bill is $10,000 a month, you know, and my revenue is $2.50. So it's something else.
Yeah.
Please cross fingers for a second stimulus, and soon, because we've lost 100,000 small businesses in 6 months. That shouldn't be okay for anyone, because you know what? It wipes out a generation of risk takers. It wipes out their wealth, wipes out their spirit, wipes out everything.
Yeah.
So it's not okay. We've lost 1,000 bars and restaurants in Iowa alone. It's not okay.
So I think we have time for one more question, and I'm going to go to Brianna Wills for that.
Oh, Brianna.
I would love for you to talk a little bit about your experience as a female hotelier, how you would say that. I know that you're recognized as one of the only females in Iowa to do that, and your experience, you know, looking for money as an investor, as a female, and you know, what are the challenges in that arena?
I would say, first of all, that I am the only woman hotel. There are only 2 hotels owned by a woman, and I own both of them. Second, it has not been for, in the fundraising, I would tell you that I forced 2 men to jump in for the street cred that I would need to get it happening, or to start that momentum. And then I can tell you this would not have been a hotel or a project, and I wouldn't be speaking to you today if it weren't for Brianna and Aaron Potabom, because they made the introductions, they jumped in, they put their behind me, and they just had met me. They believed that this was important, and that, you know, they agree with me that there's not enough holes in the earth to put these old buildings, and that it deserved to come back to life. It's even now. I mean, I was working on a press release, but sexism and all of that is alive and well. I always feel like I have to get, I mean, from lending to banking, I have a solid, really solid lender. If it weren't for my lender, I would have been closed 30 days in. They put both of my loans on forbearance immediately the morning of March 10th. So thank God. But it's still, I mean, it's every day. I mean, I've been owning businesses for all of my adult life, and it's still every day I have to call on Caucasian male to help me convince somebody that I am legit. But so it takes both. It takes men supporting women and women supporting women. It's but it's a very, very different experience as a woman business owner. I mean, even the other day, it was handing out these little stay things, and I was at the coffee shop and talking to this gal, and I said, oh yeah, I'm the one that owns Hotel Grinnell. And she's like, oh, you manage it? And I said, no, I own it. And she said, well, no, who really owns it? I said, no, I do. And she said, no, well, who helped you, dear? You know? And I'm like, you're a woman. Anyway, so, but you know what? I think that, you know, you have to let go of people getting really mad at you or that, because I think some of that fear, you just have to shoulder on and say, I'm doing this, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, and get on the bus or get off the bus, but I'm going, I'm rolling. So I appreciate the question. And it was so fun. So when I started to, you know, I told you I cried in my bear because I lost this giant investor, and then I cried in my bear for 2 days, and then I'm like, well, so Brittany, that I told you, my marketing gal, and we sent out an email blast to all 10,000 of our Hotel Grinnell followers on email. And then I learned later that was a violation of SEC regulations. But I said, hey, a lot of you have said if I ever have another project that you'd like to be involved, so call me, you know. And guess what? 2 women were the only ones out of 10,000 that responded. So I'm like, what the heck? And even me, I mean, I'm a card-carrying member of the feminist party here, and even me thought, well, why don't I try to get all women? What the heck? So that started that thought process. And then I even had the 2 men that I said, I gotta use your name for street cred if I'm gonna get this done. And even I said, I want your wife, or I'm gonna ask you to back out if I, you know, raise enough. And we have a majority of women that are awesome. That are investors. And that is unheard of in big asset, you know, the hotel asset is the hotel, they're just such beasts. I mean, yeah, it was a $5 million project and a 1.2 money raise. So it's a big project.
Well,
thanks
Angela,
for the question.
Kudos. I think we all agree, just an amazing story. We're thrilled that you're in our community and that you have done this transformation on the hotel. You have a lot to be proud of. I know that Eric Weiler, who's the president-elect of the club, he and I actually came out and did a tour because, you know, at some point in time in the future, we will be able to actually meet as a club in person. And so I know that for many of our members, they certainly loved the free parking and they loved how close they could get. And so we are exploring options for our next fiscal year, and definitely are, you know, I would say that your hotel is definitely in the mix. So
wonderful.
I know, I think the biggest challenge for all of us is the fact that we need to be able to meet all together. And then You know, then there's lots of other issues around food, and who knows when buffets will come back again, right? You know, and that we may have to do things differently. So
Good thing I have a kitchen that will do a plated meal of 500 or feed the entire school district or something. It's the biggest kitchen I've ever seen. So we can
That
do
is
plated
great.
meals too. But please, you know, if you're out and about, wear a mask. We all wear masks. We are all very, very careful. And I shouldn't even say this out loud, but somehow I shouldn't say it out loud, but if I could find some wood, I have wood behind me. All 15 of my core staff have not had the virus. We wear masks, we wash hands, but we clean rooms. We are with, you know, I mean, but we are really, I gotta knock on wood, because all 15 of us in both hotels, but we are really, really careful. But at the same time, we do all the right things they tell us to do. And so far, we are, every one of us is healthy.
That's great. Well, Angela, in honor of you taking the time today to share your story with us, our club will actually make a contribution to Rotary International's Polio Plus program in your name. That will actually be matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and will result in 70 vaccinations for polio for people around the world. And we're happy to do that as a way of saying thank you to you for taking the time today.
Thank you. And could I ask another favor? Tell your friends, go online, look at it, post about it, please. I need awareness building so that I can come back really, really strong and hot, because we have a lot of ground to make up. We lost $3 million of revenue perished in just between the two hotels. $3 million is never coming back. So I got a lot of ground to make up. So please tell your friends and be my guests.
And I
Thank
think
you.
we all
Thanks for having me.
want this hotel to succeed. And so I think we all need to do that. Think about it. Those of you with kids, think about it. That's such a great little staycation idea. Your kids get to burn off some energy. You get to stay in a cool place. I think it's a great option.
Thanks.
So again, thanks so much to Angela. And if there is no other business before the club, I invite you all, if you'd like to unmute your microphones for a cacophony of voices coming together to say the Rotary four-way test. Of all of the things that we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you all. Have a great day. Enjoy the warm weather. And we will see you back here next week.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Angela. I truly appreciate it. It is a beautiful